SANFL action came from the Glenelg Oval. The Tigers hosting at North Adelaide. Encouraging start there for the Tigers, Rod.
Yeah, it was. We had Glenelg who were ninth on the ladder versus the second-placed North Adelaide, and coming into the game, the Tigers came in on the back of a 102-point defeat to Norwood, so they really were looking to exert themselves early, and they did that with their 150-game captain starting the game off well with the first goal, but North Adelaide was soon to exert their influence.
The class seat was ultimately going to come to the 4-year sense for North Adelaide. They had plenty of options bobbing up all over the ground. Rory Kirkby denied a mark, which I think most people on the ground thought was certainly there. That was unlucky, and that seemed to almost be the thing that broke their back at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was, and North were just that little bit better each quarter. They were outscoring them by a couple of goals a quarter, which was a true reflection on how the game was being played. But the way that North played this selfless brand of footy, you can see them inside here just using the ball, sharing it around, and their finish inside 50 was as good as you're ever going to see. And in the end, it was a dominant display by the second place North Adelaide.
They had so many players stepping up there. We saw Cohen Tearley back there, but it was their second level that really came to the fore. Nathan Gordon, of course, has been one of the top shelf recruits for the SANFL, finishing off with a goal there. Cameron Hitchcock, he was a player that fulfilled a number of roles on the day. They finished off with a nice major, but there just wasn't quite enough of that for Glenelg on the day.
No, and he never had a great game. His influence was in the third quarter, at the start of the third and at the end of the third. But for players on an AFL list, you're probably hoping to do better. But it's hard when your team's getting beaten. And look, to Glenelg's credit, they really hung in there for the first three quarters. I think they were well coached. We spoke about it prior to the game. They had 10 players playing today who had played 12 games or less. North Adelaide only had 2 players, so there was a fair gap in experience. But the Glenelg players would have got some great experience out of today's football, and they'll be better for that.
Speaking of great experiences there, Cohen Tearley with one of the best goals you'll see all season from the boundary, flipping it over there from 50 metres out and finished off with a nice goal. It was North Adelaide from pillar to post. 11 points at quarter time, 27 points at half time, 43 at three-quarter time, running out 87-point winners.
You're looking at the stats there, the centre breaks ended up being 16 all, but the Tigers had a big advantage prior to the last quarter. The Roosters won 8 out of the 10 centre clearances in that quarter. The inside 50s, 50 to 37. Those 50 resulted in 32 scoring shots to North Adelaide, which is as good as it gets. And at the end of the day, those stats reflected what the game was like, and it was North Adelaide just too good.